talk after it's over.
Our last one.
Okay, we are live now. Now we are live. 3 attendees, so thank you to whoever is tuning in. We'll watch for the numbers to go up here in a few minutes. You have my clicker.
Get over to, yeah. Onward.
So I'll let you know when the attendees start going up, and then we'll keep doing the please wait, and then I'll let you know, and we'll go to the camera. And then once we go to the camera, you can introduce the room,
Yeah.
people, and then I'll produce and I'll put the presentation in a split screen document.
Yeah.
Here's us. Thank you for coming in to attend this afternoon's SOAR presentation. We'll begin here in just a moment. And for those just joining, welcome. We will get started here in just a few moments. Welcome to all of the new attendees to this afternoon's SOAR presentation. Thank you for joining us. We'll switch over to a view of the presenters here in just a moment. Continue letting some attendees join the room. Welcome to everybody who's just joining us for this afternoon's SOAR presentation. Looks like most of you have gotten into the room, so we'll begin our presentation here in just another quick second. You'll see the camera switch to view of the room with our presenters here. Then we will again share with you both a PowerPoint and a view of us presenting here and sharing some information with you about parent engagement and career development.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We're coming from, if you can see this lovely room, our File Conference Center, which is in the File Center where our athletes compete, intramurals happen, and a variety of things happen here. This room is a lovely space that we use for a variety of reasons, including Board of Trustee members when they come on campus to meet. They're here in meetings. Our capstone, which is the ending presentation, the senior year for our students, they take place here, and a variety of different things happen in this wonderful conference room. And some of you might have even spent some time in here when you visited us or campus earlier on when you were trying to make your decision about becoming a Holy Cross saint. So we're using some cool technology, the OW camera, which will allow you to see us while we present and get a good grasp of our room and see how this technology could be used sometime in even a classroom for that your students would be in the near future. So right now we want to kind of get started. I am going to introduce myself. I am Judan Casey, Associate Vice President for Communications and Development. My title is just recent, so sometimes I still refer to myself in the past. I handle all of the communications, oversee the communications and marketing for the college, as well as a large component of the development operations for Holy Cross as well. I've been at the college, it will be 5 years this coming January. It's been an honor and a privilege to be at Holy Cross, especially during the last few years, and happy to be in front of you this afternoon to share how we're going to communicate and engage our parents during this time that your student is here. I have the privilege of sharing this room and space with Adam DeBeck, so he'll go ahead and introduce himself.
So good afternoon, everybody, and I know I'm on your small screen now, so hopefully you're seeing the camera split in two so you can see both Judan and I present. It's a bit of dynamic technology that, again, will follow presenters and speakers in the classroom. So from my perspective and from the career development team, which I'll introduce later, welcome and thank you for taking a genuine interest in this. I've had the pleasure of being a part of the Holy Cross College family for 13 years. So I began here in 2007, and through 2017, I worked in the admissions office and had a chance to visit some of the high schools perhaps some of our attendees are graduating from, be a part of your town's communities and get to know where you're coming from to try and call this place home. I'm a first-generation student native to South Bend, do take a lot of pride in this community and love working with our students in the career development effort to find ways that they can experience this community on and off campus to gain skills that will grow and develop their resume that they can then transfer into their next decision after Holy Cross College or their next landing place after Holy Cross College. So I welcome everybody here. I'll continue to share a little bit of my story as time goes on, but we'll let Judan begin with the parent communication portion of today's presentation. Thanks again for attending.
Wonderful. Just a quick overview of what Adam and I are going to talk about this afternoon, so you have a good idea of what we're going to hit on. I will handle parent engagement, talking to you about how we communicate some of the events, and then opportunities to be involved as a parent while your child is here at Holy Cross. Adam will move into career development, where he'll talk about career readiness and postgraduate planning, resources and partners, and some of the outcomes. What we will not really touch upon is some of the concerns maybe that you might have with your students coming here in the fall with some of the COVID things that we might have in place. That will all occur at the town hall meeting, which is scheduled for June 30th at 9 p.m. And you'll be getting more information about that as the ending session to SOAR. So we hope that you can tune in for that. And there'll be other little bits of more information provided to you at that time as well. Just a reminder that question and answer is open, so you can go ahead and type in a question if you have anything for me and Adam while we are presenting. And we will also leave time at the end of our presentation to take some questions as well. So with that, we'll get started. Parent engagement. We're going to talk about some of the ways that Holy Cross is going to communicate with you as parents during your students' time here. We'll have a parent e-newsletter, which will go out twice a year. It's an electronic, so that's via your email. That will just kind of keep you up to date on things really targeted to what parents might want to know about happening here at Holy Cross. There'll also be an opportunity for invitations and special mailings that might be sent to you. If we are in your area doing an event or something is going on near you, we do invite our parents along with some of our alums and other friends in the area to some of these events. So you might see that drop in your mailbox every now and again if we're out in your area. The Connections magazine is our print publication, and you see two of our latest. That happens twice a year. So we had our summer edition, which focused on our identity of the disciple, and our winter edition of 2020 that focused on the identity of the scholar. And that's a real comprehensive piece that is mailed to your home that really allows you to get an insider look into Holy Cross College from some of the things happening with faculty or staff, our students, different activities, services that we do, our campus ministry program, career development. So we try to highlight what is really happening here and the stories of the people on this campus in that magazine. And it's a truly wonderful piece that you'll be receiving. Your first one as parents, Holy Cross parents, will be in late summer of 2020. We're also very active on Facebook, and our website will be another way that you can find information about what's happening. We do keep those accurate and up to date. Our handles are all on there for Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So you'll be able to check those, follow those social media platforms for a lot of what's happening and the small tidbits that we might post up daily about student life or some event on campus. It's a really great way to keep up to date with what might be happening here with your student on a day-to-day basis, if you want that. There's a college e-news, which again is another kind of e-newsletter, and that's 4 times a year, and that would be things that are really short kind of blurbs, just happenings here on campus again, or stories or profiles, but in a very short condensed thing for parents to just be aware of what's happening here. We really want you to feel like you know what's going on at Holy Cross, and that some of the great things that we're doing, some of the great things that your students will be doing here, some of the wonderful things that our alums have done after Holy Cross, and what our faculty are doing. There's amazing things that are going on here, so we want to make sure you know all about them. Parent engagement with special communication. So sometimes there's going to be a circumstance where we have to do some type of special communication. The most current example is COVID-19. So we were we took a lot of care to make sure that in the special circumstances, both our students and parents are communicated to. Students would receive an emergency alert, usually on their phone, text. They also receive an email, and social media and our website is also up to date with any of those special communications or instructions that might be needed. For parents, it's the social media and the website, and as well as an email that we will send out debriefing you or alerting you or communicating to you about something, some special circumstance that might be happening. So you will, and we do a good job of making sure that you are informed, and that of course the students are informed. We also host a variety of events at Holy Cross and even in your community that parents would be invited to. We have an annual golf outing. Unfortunately, with COVID-19, that would have taken place probably in a few weeks, but that was canceled with all of the COVID stuff. We will pick that up next year, so you'll be invited to that. And that is a golf outing that helps to support our athletics programs. So the money that is raised through that supports our student athletes. Welcome Weekend is the another event that we have, and that's what you guys will be coming back to when you bring your student here to Holy Cross. We always do at Holy Cross tailgate, and again, COVID-19, we've had to cancel that for this year. It will be back on for next year. That tailgate is a great opportunity for the Holy Cross community to come together. We do it over at Notre Dame, and it's usually with the first home football game of the season. So it's a wonderful event, and we're right there in the action of everything football. And we have so many alumni, parents, friends of the college find us over there, and it's a really good time. So something to look forward to for next year. And like I said, it's usually the first home football game, but we'll give you plenty of notice so you can make plans to come back for that. We also host a parents weekend here at Holy Cross, and it is for the entire parents, not just a class of parents. So we invite all of our Holy Cross parents back for that weekend. I have the date for that later in a slide that you'll be able to see. It's a wonderful weekend. It kicks off with our honors convocation that would happen on Friday evening. Father Tyson hosts a wonderful reception after that to welcome all parents and families to the weekend. And then on Saturday, it's just a day-long set of different activities that might consist of something fun here on campus. We've had things like painting the cross or painting the chapel with one of our wonderful visual arts instructors, Angelo Martinez, to eating lunch with faculty. There might be alumni panels, there might be different kind of sessions or activities, but we also understand that this is really sometimes a time for parents to use this weekend as an excuse and come back and see their children. So we leave free time as well so that you could go out and explore the wonderful community that we have here in Michiana with South Bend, Mishawaka, or even do things on our tri-campus community. Our Parents Weekend usually ends Sunday morning with a brunch, and then that concludes usually by noon. So it's really a Friday evening till Sunday noonish event. We do coincide with Notre Dame's Junior Parents Weekend, so that's something to think about as you're planning for this upcoming Parents Weekend, about getting room reservations and getting things booked if you do plan to come back, because that can get a little, there's a lot of people coming into town for that weekend. Then commencement weekend, which will be the accumulation of the time your student is here at Holy Cross. And then I referenced regional events that we do sometimes have a college representative or the president or some event happening that might be in your region that we would invite you to so that you can come and join this Holy Cross community and learn more about it. Parent engagement, there's an opportunity for volunteering. So in admissions, you could help at the admissions office with what we call yield receptions, which are hosting something in your town, maybe not at your home, but in a venue or whatever you see fit, that would invite all of the students who have been accepted to Holy Cross but have yet to deposit to come and hear from a Holy Cross representative or a student or an alum. And we use those to really kind of cultivate the love, the family feel for Holy Cross in trying to get that student to deposit. So there might be that opportunity. There also could be a student send-off for new students. So some areas might choose to have a student send-off for all those new students before they come here on campus. And that could be something that definitely a parent could host for us to help with that. As far as outreach, we do have parent receptions sometimes throughout the country. Like I said, if we're going to be there visiting or doing something Holy Cross related in an area, we would have something, a gathering for parents. So parents in that area could get together with whoever the Holy Cross representative is there and meet the other parents and just kind of build that community and that sense of belonging. Alumni gatherings. We will also have alumni gatherings. Sometimes they're in your area, and we are always happy to have parents at those. So we really will just extend invitations to you and just inviting you to these things so that you can come and get a better sense of our alumni who have great stories to tell, and they're such great representatives of this institution. And then every now and again, President Tyson will kind of go on his tour, and he'll hit some hot spots throughout the nation, and we host presidential events. either a dinner, reception, or something like that, and parents and our friends and alums are always invited to those. So when we go out into the different parts of the country, we make sure that we're engaging with you and hearing, seeing you, hearing what you have to say, and just having those kind of events and conversations. This is the upcoming events for this coming year that you might want to mark down, and then for commencement. So honors convocation is February 19th. That's the start of Parents Weekend. You'll see Parents Weekend is February 19th through the 21st. For the Gateway parents out there, the college does have a Gateway recognition ceremony for them. That is usually in April. The date will be determined, and Emily David will get that out to you as soon as that is determined. And then I know this is quite a few years down the road, but commencement weekend for your students would be May 17th through the 18th, 2024. So make plans for all of those. Basically, we really try to maintain contact with you through the 4 years or however long your student is here with Holy Cross. We feel that you are great a partner in this whole process of the education and the community that we try to build here. Just one last thing, and then I'll turn it over to Adam, is that we will follow up with all of you to send you a copy of this presentation, so you'll have all these dates. And we'll also include a link that you can make sure you are part of our parent mailing list by completing the information that we request. There's a link, you click on it, go in and fill your information. Most of your information does get over to us from admissions if it was on the application or they have collected that, but there'll also be a link to make sure so that we are certain we don't leave you out of anything that we're doing here at Holy Cross, because we'd love to see you at our events and on campus.
And then, Judah, just one question about events.
Yes.
If they are confirmed currently, or what our plans are for upcoming events that may be advertised up here, you know, with the current.
Right now, we are go with these events, monitoring the situation, but as we all know with COVID-19 and how things will go, stay tuned. But this is our hope, is that we'll be able in our spring semester to start to have some events. It might look a little different, right, if we're still adjusting to different protocols or scenarios, but right now these are pretty set in stone.
And one additional question has come through asking if there are specific parent communications regarding Driscoll Scholars or other tracks or programs here at the college, if there's anything.
No, not at this time. We don't completely segment. Our communications from our office are more to the general parents. Sometimes there might be a highlighted student who's a Driscoll Scholar or Gateway or one of our other programs, accelerated 3-year intensive bachelor's, whatever that is called. But no, it's more of a general out communication. Other things might be articulated to your students about those programs in a different way, but from our office, it's more the broad-based. Okay, and now I'm going to turn it over to Adam.
All right, thank you, Judan. And again, echoing my appreciation for all of you who are out there attending and watching this virtually today. As one might expect, career development here does serve all students, but very traditionally, some of the work and things we will discuss definitely pertains to our students who are looking to earn their bachelor's degree in either 3 or 4 years from the college. Questions have come up in the past. Are some of these services or opportunities available to Gateway students? I'll try and answer those as they come up, but I can definitely share that during my time here in the college, again, since 2007, I was here pre-Gateway, during the initial formation of Gateway, and have had interactions with every single one of the cohorts coming through, up to and including some work with them on social media, or keeping in touch with seniors, or organizing some of the events back and forth across the street. So all of our different cohorts here are certainly near and dear to career development's heart, and we're more than happy to work with them. So getting that out of the way, I will share a little bit of what I hope to talk about today and outline the team, the partners which we have collaborating with us to help us achieve our goals, some of the standards with which we hold our students to and help them build competencies towards, our experiential learning courses and other experiential learning opportunities they have to develop their resume during whatever length of time the student is with us here at Holy Cross College, ways in which we interact with our students, and then I'll share a few of our alumni stories and outcomes to try and just put faces with some of these opportunities that we have up there as well too. Moving forward into career development, we are a staff of 3. There's myself serving as the Director of Career Development, ending my first year with that in this position, again after previously working 2 years, helping and coordinating with Judan to coordinate alumni events both locally, regionally, and across the country. And then 10 years prior to that, working with students primarily from Illinois, California, or international students on finding their home here at Holy Cross College as a member of the admissions team. I'm assisted by an internship coordinator, Catherine Cressy, who has been with the college 7 years and has had great work during that time building partnerships in the communities and helping develop a real robust program that requires students to meet with somebody here at the college and build a plan for a formal internship in order to earn 3 credit hours worth of academic work here. And then we're supported by the work of NFocus, who you'll hear a few different times, the local civic innovation company, which takes recent college graduates on as fellows and helps them work on projects within civic innovation areas. We're supported by the work of an NFocus fellow who will be in her 2nd year after graduating from Purdue University with an engineering degree and working in their career development office. We're very grateful to have somebody very close to the student's perspective who has worked in other colleges' career development, providing input and feedback and helping us make changes that better bring our students into what would be expected in the modern workforce. Beyond that, we have some partners at the state level that assist us, and being an Indiana independent college or university really has its benefits. There's a large network out there of other schools just like us, but beyond that, there's some work at the state level to bring resources to each of us. And we partner with IndianaIntern.net, which helps collect and gather internships across the state of Indiana from across all organizations. And previously they were their own standalone website, but we've recently integrated them into our platforms here, so students have a one-stop shop to look for opportunities across the state with which they can develop and a network or begin to get some practical work experience here. We also have Ascend Indiana on board. Ascend Indiana is another organization that helps corral early career opportunities for graduates, and all 3 of our partners here in this community are members of Ascend Indiana. But Ascend essentially works to help students find their first job in Indiana, working to make sure graduates, wherever they're from, can find this as a great state to begin their career. And what a student will do is develop a page just like LinkedIn. They will then have access to a job board that's cultivated through Ascend Indiana. And if the student chooses to make an application, they have a personal counselor working with them back and forth to try and help that individual get the interview, prepare for the interview, understand why they're a fit at that organization. And oftentimes, as many of us likely know, the best way to get into an organization is to have somebody there help make that introduction. And Ascend serves as that initial introductory point for our graduates to find opportunities or internships, again, here in the state of Indiana. And all of this work that we've put forth in the last year has been made possible due to some gracious grant dollars from the Lilly Endowment, which has supported our work here and helped us to create partnership pathways for students. As I mentioned, I'm a first-generation student. Paid internships are something that really matter to a lot of our incoming class. They're opportunities to say, well, I have a job. It may not be what I want to do, but it does help bring in income, which pays bills, help me pay for tuition, et cetera, et cetera. And taking an unpaid internship, while valuable, may not always be financially possible. So through the work and gracious support of this Lilly Endowment, we've been able to find paid opportunities for students here in the community that are set opportunities for Holy Cross students. So what we're doing with all of this, the 3 of us, our partner organizations, the message that they hear is that we are a community of scholars, citizens, leaders, and disciples. We are a community of people who come together because we believe these core 4 values are central to human and holistic development in this Catholic liberal arts tradition. But when you're trying to take all of that mouthful and share it in a job interview, you need to be able to highlight very specific areas. You need to be able to show proficiency in oral and written communication, teamwork and collaboration, that you're adept at learning or handling new technology, that you have leadership experience, that there's a bit of professionalism and work ethic that you can demonstrate and have built up and can carry into that and bring to that new workforce, that you have an idea of where your career is, was, and will be going, and you have a direction, even if it's an exploratory direction, that you understand what skills you have and how they can apply to an industry. This global and intercultural fluency is something Holy Cross takes very seriously. How to talk about your engagement with other cultures and what you can bring to that organization. And then critical thinking and problem solving. These are not pulled out of a hat. These are from the National Organization of Colleges and Employers, a large body here that helps exist and facilitate communication between industry and organizations, profit, nonprofit, etc., and colleges, specifically to help us understand what liberal arts graduates need to be able to demonstrate proficiencies in order to have the best chance of possible landing that first opportunity that they're pursuing. And so we will help you find the language that helps say, how have you become and developed as a scholar, and how does that translate to these 8 competencies? Citizenship, how does it translate to these competencies? And how in an interview or in an application statement to graduate school or in an application interview for graduate school, etc., can you demonstrate these identities as the 8 most desirable things from organizations? And this survey happens every year, and these 8 have been largely unchanging for the last number of years. So again, taking our identity to an identity that maybe is more commonly used in industry terms or with those in the job. How we do that is not in a standalone area to develop scholars, citizen leaders, and disciples. Everybody is fully aware there's a full curriculum. You're enrolling here to take a course, to take a pathway, to get ingrained in a major. But you're also enrolling in a liberal arts college, and a liberal arts college is meant to help expose you to different things and to make sure our students are not ignorant of anything they should know, as written in our Constitution here. And with that, there is a number of core interdisciplinary courses that help Holy Cross have its unique position in the higher education landscape and help our students become distinct and help them truly be able to articulate all of those 4 identities: scholar, citizen, leader, and disciple. Those courses are our college seminar, which requires all college freshmen to gather together, read a common set of books, and engage in a common set of discussion, whether that's on our campus or the University of Notre Dame's campus, helping get initiated or ingrained into the culture of a campus in what its most important in, what its identity is, and what its values and charisms are. Take place in college seminar, a course that is both reading and writing intensive in most college campuses. Beyond that, and discussion-based too, again, all reading the same texts and all learning from each other's perspectives, regardless of what intentional major you might be moving into. Those students are then again united, despite which major, which pathway, which curriculum they're in another IDSP course here titled Common Good Seminar and Practicum, which helps our students engage with one of many different nonprofit organizations here in the local area, where they're actually spending time in small groups serving and working on that act of citizenship and discipleship and leadership while working amongst others and side by side in an organization. As those of us who are active in servant or like to study the ideas of servant leadership, oftentimes there's as much learned as there's as much given. So to ensure that happens, students come back and have discussion-based conversations about the experiences that day, what the organization does, what its mission is, not just who they serve, but how they serve, what the intentionality is of it behind there as well too. So not just service for our sake, service for self-growth and reflection as well too. Students then move into a very common set of courses at liberal arts colleges, which are globally minded courses, which help our students consider their place, not just in their local community or their region, but beyond that in the world. How are they global citizens? And those courses may be domestic, they may be international, they may be traditional study abroad. They may be courses that you take specific to us here at the college, which may sponsor you an opportunity to travel to Peru, Uganda, or India, which are our current traditional offerings during the best of all health situations globally. Our students could spend anywhere from 2.5 to 3 weeks or so immersed in the culture in another area, alongside the Brothers of Holy Cross, serving in their churches, their schools, the orphanages, really getting a chance to see what the Congregation of Holy Cross's mission is globally without having to open a textbook, read, etc. There are courses before, there are courses after. But while you were there to see how being international affects you, to go through all of that together as a small cohort. It's been a beautiful part of the college's tradition here, so instead of just opening a book and reading about the world, you have the opportunity to say, that really interests me. How might I react if I were the characters in those stories? And we may have the opportunity to help you get out there and interact with those cultures abroad. Beyond that, the center, those courses are interdisciplinary, housed in the larger body of courses that the Career Development Office falls under. But we directly administer IDSP 400 and 499, which is the professional internship and the senior capstone presentation. Again, every graduate who has a bachelor's degree from Holy Cross College in our entirety of time offering that degree has done a 3-credit-hour professional internship. We have worked to build a really strong network of people here in this community who are aware of us, and we've also worked really hard to develop a curriculum that you can take with you back to your home communities or internationally to complete and still earn academic credit. So it's a course beyond the walls of the traditional classroom, which offers you work and lessons and reflective opportunities to submit and showcase your work to us here, as well as your own learning and your own insights and your own development to do that, to earn 3 credit hours, paid or unpaid, domestic, regional, international, in your home communities. During the academic year, during the summer, all of those things are flexible. We have a really amazing director of this program, Catherine Cressy, our coordinator of it, who works really, really well with students. And even now, moving into July, or preparing to move into July, we're still helping students find ways to complete these 120 hours remotely with organizations that they continue during the school year, paid, to really make sure that even during this time of uncertainty, we are not leaving any student behind who is actively saying, I'm ready for this experience, I'm looking for it, how can we work with them to get ready? And that happens every day, behind the scenes, virtually, however we can best support students. And then finally, the senior capstone presentation, which happens for all graduating seniors here. Every graduating senior has a bachelor's degree has delivered a senior capstone presentation, a summation of their experiences here, presented with their values, their growth in scholar, citizen, leader, disciple, the skills they hope to transfer, where they hope to go, how college has shaped and prepared them as a scholar, citizen, leader, and disciple to face the needs of the world. How their heart and mind has been educated, to use Holy Cross language, how they've gotten the competency to see and the courage to act, and where they hope to take those actions into their community, into their employment, into graduate studies, into whatever their next opportunity may be. The capstone is a time where you spend a semester developing that narrative so that when asked those questions, you can answer with a definitive statement, you can answer with a clarity of purpose, you can articulate your values, what you bring to an organization that is desirable, how you hope to work within that organization, what your plan might be, etc. It is different for every student, but the goal is if we spend time intentionally doing it, when you walk across the stage at commencement, your head is held high. You are equally as proud of your accomplishment as the next student, as the student who has the microphone and the student who does not have the microphone. You have had your chance to articulate your values and your experiences here at the college in front of a panel of traditionally 3 individuals. One who's worked with you to develop the entire presentation, has given you feedback, has been there to mentor and get to know you and help you develop and write that story. Someone from your academic career here who can give you insights and challenge you and question you and provide additional academic insights into what you provide here. And someone, hopefully in the best of all worlds, working in the field or industry or area that you might want to go into. And that oftentimes blossoms into a really amazing mentorship opportunity. If a student comes without one of those, it's my job, the onus is on me as the instructor of that course and as a personal charge to help do my best to develop or find or build a connection for that student, and hope in the best of all worlds that lasts beyond that hour-long capstone presentation in which students are speaking for 20 to 25 minutes, about 15 minutes of question and answer, and then time for feedback with those individuals as well. Parents come back, guests have come back. This room has been in overflow status many, many times for students here to deliver those presentations. And I'm really proud to say that during this time of distance learning, we presented them during the exact same platform that you're hearing now. and we had students still have 60, 70 attendees on them as well too. So it's really amazing the work of our technology staff here and our IT staff to make sure that those senior capstone presentations, those internships, those things so central to Holy Cross. Not only do students have the technology, the resources, and the wherewithal, but so do we as instructors here to make sure we can support those students in them. Moving on, I've mentioned before that an unpaid internship is not something every student can take, regardless of what your background status is, etc. Sometimes there is just a genuine need to pay bills, to have pocket money, to support yourself. In my case, it was a part of a deal with my parents that I would have a job while on campus, that I would keep my GPA at XYZ, and if those conditions were unmet, there were ramifications. The car could have gone away, cell phone would have got turned off, etc. So those were things that I took on going to college, and I knew I had to support myself and try and find those opportunities. But not every student has the access or the luck or the resources to build those connections and find those competitive opportunities. So through the work of the Lilly Grant, we've built connections with some of the organizations you see represented here on your screen. And Focus, the civic innovation firm, a solar, Midwestern solar energy company, the St. Joseph County Public Library, Bowman Creek through Notre Dame Center for Civic Innovation does some civic projects on the west side. Leadership South Bend, Mishawaka, helping develop servant leadership within organizations across this community for almost 50 years. And Preventing Child Abuse, United Three's Roof Sit, happening this week, collecting hundreds of thousands of dollars to help benefit organizations across 2 states, multiple counties, 9 different organizations to help advance their work in the prevention of child abuse and supporting those who might be victims of that encounter. So lots of pathways, regardless of what your industry and your area might be, and these are carved out for Holy Cross students to apply to. So they may take 30 students, they may take 5 students, but there are guaranteed spaces reserved for Holy Cross that we've chosen to take money given to us and say we will share it with organizations if they will open their doors to support Holy Cross interns here. We do not see that. We've been working very intentionally to build this in a sustainable cost sharing model where the organization kicks in a little, we kick in a little to make sure that we can continue this partnership beyond the grant closure date. Beyond that, we also work with federal work studies. So for students or parents out there who may know this is a part of your son or daughter's financial aid and they're coming here, off-campus federal work study is a requirement of our institution to offer to students. So there are positions on campus, but for those with the wherewithal or the inkling or the ability to travel off campus for a job, we offer reimbursement at $10 an hour to go out and work with community partners. Oftentimes we have alums or a strong history of engagement there or support to go and develop their resume through employment off campus, paid for through Holy Cross College. That money does not get applied to your financial aid. It comes directly to the student to apply. And this year we had a great number of students who are doing that, one of our highest in recent years, taking advantage of that. And it's because of wonderful opportunities where we have taken the idea of, if this is a good fit, what if your internship was done at a federal work study site? And what if federal work study helped pay for your internship back and forth? And so we found these creative ways to make sure that students can work at nonprofits, doing work in social media or search engine optimization or website work, or working with children, or serving the community, or understanding how a nonprofit operates and their finances, etc. To really go beyond just doing service, to actually understanding how those organizations operate for paid opportunities here at the college. And you can see just a few of the organizations we've been able to partner with and place students at during this last year. Another opportunity for students here who, again, this is students from the tri-campus community are open to enroll in this opportunity. Holy Cross College values it and places 2 credit hours per semester on enrolling in the Applied Entrepreneurship Program. This program will allow students to travel into the community, meet over 30 different entrepreneurs, encounter local businesses and organizations that really are individuals who took a chance on themselves and invested in a business and found success. And this area has a lot of grant support for entrepreneurships and startups right now. So our students are actually out there encountering, meeting them, and in many cases, actually opening their own business as a part of that. You'll see the story of Riley and Santi last year, who opened the For the Cause Marketing, an organization which paid college and high school students to help design branding, logo, marketing, social media strategies for nonprofits on a contract basis. A nonprofit might say, here's all I can pay for this project. I don't need somebody monitoring it ongoing, but we'd love a refresh. We'd love somebody to go through and help develop templates. We'd love somebody to write out and schedule tweets for the next 2 months, help build and prepare for this campaign, help design us a logo for our fundraiser, whatever that may be, or help us move online in this area where most of these nonprofits are having to do fundraising virtually. How can they do that? Well, you may not be able to contract with a firm, but you may be able to find some high school or college students who are very talented in photography, videography, etc., who can do that, and their business was opened and supports that. You'll see Riley Trott Photography up there. She's a local wedding photographer, graduated and went full steam ahead in becoming a photographer for her career and is moving towards that. Definitely believed in her work enough, got to know her both from her time here as a student, doing many and much of the photography you might see in recent years online or on websites or in print, etc. Quality of work was outstanding, and I was able to actually help her get a job that I can fully endorse by being the photographer at my brother's wedding recently. So it was really wonderful to support Holy Cross students, have my family believe in Holy Cross students enough to bring them there to capture those moments for that day. And the other one is the Arena Club experience, which blossomed out of Touchdown Tailgates, a program which said tailgating at the University of Notre Dame is difficult for many people. They fly into town, they don't have pop-up tents, they don't have their own heaters, they don't have their own televisions. They got to drive around and collect these stuff. What do they do at the end of the weekend? Do they throw it away? How are they really able to have a hassle-free tailgating experience? And the answer was to hire Touchdown Tailgates, a company which would go and set up everything for you. Set up the tent, deliver your food, bring your ice, help contract with catering, help make sure if you needed a heater over there, you needed TVs over there, you needed parking passes. They were the guys finding it. They were out there with these add-ons doing that. And so much so that it took off to where Rent Like a Champion today contacted them, which to their excitement technically meant they were in business with Mark Cuban from Shark Tank, amongst his many, many other investment endeavors around the area. Touchdown Tailgates went so well, they were actually contacted by an organization in Chicago to begin being the custom tailgate provider for the Chicago Bears. So if anybody's ever tailgated outside the Chicago Bears, Soldier Field, or one of the museum lots, our alums are now the ones running the Arena Club experience out there with live music and custom food or black cars driving you up to the game, or just going in with your friends before that and just having a great tailgating experience where, again, everything's provided for you. All of these were started by our students enrolling in the Applied Entrepreneurship Program, meeting local entrepreneurs, getting feedback, having them look at their contracts, look at their marketing materials, look at everything they're doing, and build a network that's allowed them to successfully launch an actual startup, which they can file for their own license to have. So it's been a really wonderful partnership that we've got to help students do applied learning in the community. Beyond all of those experiences, how do you remember them? How do you get involved with them? Where are we? How are we going to find you? How are you going to interact with us, etc.? Well, we do have office hours, but I really exist with an open door policy. In the best of all conditions, we're able to walk in and out of each other's offices. We're able to stand next to each other and get coffee, eat together in the dining hall, immersing myself in the life of a student here by attending basketball games, soccer games, getting to know the coaches, getting to know the trainers, supporting them, speaking in other classrooms, again, standing next to people getting coffee and not being silent, but actively engaging them in questions. What are you doing this summer? What are you looking for? What's your major, etc.? And really trying to build those relationships so that we're not just an office you have to seek out. We're an office you know and want to just stop by casually and say hello and open the door for conversation and allow us to help support you with opportunities that we see come across our door, that we can send them directly to you and help reduce those barriers to finding them. So we have office hours, we have ways to schedule meetings with us, but certainly we welcome students to stop in. We're located right next to academic advising. You're trying to pick your classes for next semester, you've got a question about scheduling, you want to know something, you're generally stopping into these offices and having a conversation. Not only can we just be very accessible by knocking on the wall, you can just walk next door, or they can say, hey, that's a good question. Let me think about what course would prepare you for that, or an opportunity. Let's have a conversation, which allows picking your classes to be collaborative with career development if necessary. We're also located right next to the English and Math Lab, so if you're taking your paper to get some checkups on it, or you're stopping by to get some assistance in math or work on that in a group, we're located right there, which again brings students to us who we can see have the grit and determination to put in the extra work to really get that assistance and ask for help, those students we know are receptive to those conversations about how can we help and support you, so we're able to develop relationships with them there as well too. So it's a really ideal location. We do leave throughout the day though. There's times where it can be difficult to reach us, and we know sometimes students may be active between the hours that aren't traditional business hours. So even though we may be here on campus and accessible in the dining hall or one of the athletic events, etc., it's still nice to know there's resources and support like Pathway U, which will help you do a skills and values inventory to provide options for careers that match your current responses to those and help you look for opportunities in your local area. Or Handshake, which both the University of Notre Dame and Holy Cross use, which allows you to look at jobs, internships from across the nation and across the world. Every employer requests and says, Holy Cross has something my organization would want. You have a major which we regularly employ. We'd like to post jobs on your board. Then we say yes. Then they say, here are the jobs we want. We look at those and again say yes. So it's a vetted job board for employers and organizations to post opportunities for our students. I was just checking over there while watching the computers. I've approved 50 positions just today, and it's just a Wednesday, right? So 50 on a Wednesday is a pretty good deal. Those are all across the nation. I've approved local, national organizations and jobs and position postings here today. So, and it is a mobile app our students can download. They can set parameters and say, hey, I want to know when an internship in my hometown pops up. Set a push alert. Worst you got to do is swipe it away, just like any other app and notification. Best case scenario, you're notified immediately. Students can submit their application via Handshake as well, and all communication can take place on this platform. So it's a really wonderful way. You can peer-to-peer. You say, hey, which of your students have interned at Boeing, or what students in Notre Dame, Indiana have interned at Boeing? You can run a search and go, oh, I didn't know there was a Holy Cross upperclassman doing his internship there this summer. I want to reach out to him. Oh, cool, there's some Notre Dame students who've been there. I'd like to message those students and find out what they did, what classes they took, etc., that prepared them. So there's peer-to-peer messaging outside of this area as well too, but certainly students can use it to connect with peers here in the area. So it's a very powerful tool that's again a one-stop shop and available for an app on your phone. All you need to log in is your Holy Cross email. It will likely be active right around move-in weekend here for all of our incoming families to be able to use. Moodle is a place where students will get very used to going to submitting homework assignments or downloading resources for something that maybe the professor says you don't need to buy a book, I just need you to read these excerpts. I'm going to put it up on Moodle. You'll be able to go there and download that. Career development hosted as well with templates you can use to download approved resumes, fill in the blanks, get those set up before your initial meeting with us if a resume is something that's new to you. There's also great resources there to polish your resume and work on it as time develops. And all of the resources we have can not only be found on the personal sites there, but on Moodle as well. So we're trying to be everywhere our students are at so they can find us easily. And we do monitor and manage LinkedIn communities for Chicago, Indianapolis, and locally. There could be some other ones as well. And we'll continue to sponsor opportunities for our students to get connected with alumni, either in person or virtually. I was just talking with one of our alums from 2008 the other day, who lives in New York, and she's a mobile app developer. She asked if she could get some of her friends to talk about job hunting during this time, to talk about empowering women in technology or getting ahead and trying to strategize and ideate these. Again, having been here since 2007, there's a large group of alums who I know and have had the pleasure to become friends with. So we try and make sure that that network is out there for our students to interact with and engage with at all times as well. So tracking our VA alums all the way through. So it's been a really rewarding experience. And again, you can search for them or we can help you get connected with them in our network as well. Some first destination information. You can all see this. I don't need to read the slide to you, but what I'm really proud to say is of the students who have reported, that means, you know, they haven't changed their cell phone number. They let us, we were able to send them mailing. They didn't move their apartments or anything like that, and change their email address to something they didn't send us. Of the students who reported back to us where they were at, we had 78% tell us that they had a full-time plan within 6 months of graduation. That's well above national average, and we're very excited for last year's graduates to be able to do that. We're tracking very much the same this year, despite COVID-related concerns in businesses and organizations. We still have a lot of students out there who are pursuing opportunities, and you'll see some of those beyond here as well too. A good number of them had that destination before graduation, and that year's class, not a lot were pursuing graduate school, right? So we had lower numbers looking at graduate school, and an equal number of them who were looking at taking a gap year to make sure the area they were in wanted to be there. But we had great alums get an opportunity at First Source Bank, a very well respected banking institution here locally alongside Notre Dame Federal Credit Union. First Source Bank had a 2-year management training rotational program. They took 2 graduates. Notre Dame Federal Credit Union also has 2 working in different management tracks and communities here as well. We have teachers in the South Bend community schools. We have individuals helping the South Bend Cubs organization continue its winning tradition here. We have members of Notre Dame Fighting Irish Media ticket sales. We have individuals working for the city of Chicago in their schools, their public schools, others working in the government offices downtown. We have people applying for city or teaching positions. We have individuals that join the military. We had individuals going to the Tire Rack, which an alum works with here, helping our students create pathways at the Tire Rack, a national organization headquartered here in this area. Individuals working in logistics, individuals working in internet security. There's a host of them, can't list them all, but a great number of our students looking at great opportunities, both locally, regionally, and nationally that they've been able to pursue as well too. And individuals from across the country choosing to stay, and individuals locally choosing to travel elsewhere for their first job as well too. Some of those collaborations students have at their fingertips might be the University of Notre Dame's Masters of Science in Management program, an 11-month program which has reserved seats for our students here at Holy Cross College for non-business majors to get a Master of Science in Management and move on from there. We have agreements with the University or with St. Mary's College for a Master of Science in Data Science and a Master of Autism Science, Autism Studies as well too. Both wonderful programs that fit right in with our psychology and business majors here to help our students go on from Holy Cross and really pursue additional degrees here in Notre Dame, Indiana. Some other institutions people have gotten accepted to. I run through this rather quickly, but I'll do my best to be articulate in that quickness as well too. We have individuals in Seton Hall pursuing healthcare management, Michigan State University for law, Purdue University for technology, Harvard for finance, Bethel for a transition to teaching to go into teaching at high school level. Individuals at IUPUI for history and museum studies, Valparaiso University for psychology, Ave Maria University for law, San Diego for a PhD program in psychology, Evansville for student leadership and development theory, Miami University, individuals for athletic administration, Dayton for theology, Penn State for landscape and lawn care maintenance, and the University of Notre Dame has many, many graduate programs it houses. Amongst the 2 worth highlighting are the ACE and the ECHO program, the Alliance for Catholic Education being ACE, which helps provide high school teachers to communities across the country that are in need of quality young teachers to go there. Cohort-based model where they live together, they teach in schools in that area, they then come back and pursue their on-campus education during the summer. And the ECHO program, which exists very similarly, but is for students who might want to do theology and youth ministry after graduation. So again, a host of local and national organizations that our students have found their way. Some internship stories. We had a student from DC find his internship here in South Bend with the Grotto Network, where he worked and was trained in search engine optimization and is currently pursuing full-time jobs back in DC in social media management. An individual from the Chicago suburbs who actually is a part of the U.S. National Blind Hockey Team. So if you ever get a chance to watch their games and cheer along, you'll be cheering for a Holy Cross alum out there. He actually moved to Seattle and helped found the Seattle Insights, a local chapter of the National Blind Hockey Association. And he hopes to move to Seattle and begin work with that program after this situation permits that organization to reopen safely. We had a student here locally pursue her internship in Washington, D.C., where she received an opportunity with the National Hispanic Leadership Institute working in D.C. on legislation and policy affecting her own home community. She then hopes to be active and take that on beyond graduation, possibly back in D.C. And a young woman from Plymouth, just south of here, a small community, who said, I've not really had the opportunity to travel, not sure what I want to do. She had her internship at the Studebaker Museum, but then decided to take the plunge and study abroad. And while she was abroad, did a second internship at the Museum of Richmond. And both of those experiences are the ones that helped carry her into a very competitive application here at IUPUI, where she'll be enrolling this fall. We had individuals go on from alumni stories, moving on beyond there. An individual graduated from here, applied to Valpo for law. From Valpo, went on to Georgetown. From Georgetown, went into working in D.C. for Todd Young. From there, moved to Barnes & Thornburg in Indianapolis, where he's currently an associate in their corporate department and does a lot of great mentoring work and supporting of our students looking for jobs or opportunities, law or otherwise, in Indianapolis, Indiana. We had a gentleman from here in South Bend, Humberto, who graduated at the top of his class and was one of our Juan Diego scholars here at the college. Umberto, at the end of his time here, was actually the college's commencement speaker, a really amazing opportunity to have a bilingual individual deliver an address. This was a good number of years ago as well, too. And he's now the Assistant Executive Director at La Casa de Amistad after completing Notre Dame's Master's in Nonprofit Administration. So I had a great chance to go on there. Very active. La Casa de Amistad supports a number of faculty and staff here, either in advisory roles, collaborative roles, mentorship roles, and has 5 full-time Holy Cross employees working here in different offices, from finance to fundraising, et cetera, down the line to the executive director positions. And we also had a young woman from Fort Wayne who decided law school was going to be her path. From Holy Cross, she became a paralegal, decided to get active in her community and wanted to advance causes that were important to her. So she found an opportunity to move to Texas and work with the Community Revitalization Project. But she's a staunch advocate for women moving into these areas of law, et cetera, that maybe traditionally have underrepresented members of the community amongst its larger representation. And she's been a great resource for our students here. And finally, an athlete from Brazil who moved here to South Bend to play soccer, had a wonderful opportunity to do his internship in Spain, and then took his trilingual talents to First Source Bank, where he works as a loan service agent in the specialty finance division, helping negotiate the sale of aircraft between his headquarters in downtown South Bend and Brazil, his home country. So a really wonderful opportunity for him to get to stay connected to his home country while learning and working here for his first position in South Bend with First Source Bank. As a reminder, Judeanne and I will kind of both begin to talk here in a second, but I'll pass this off to her. You can see on your screen a reminder for the town hall. I'll let Judeanne share some details of that, and I'll move back over here. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Adam. So just a reminder, town hall takes place next Tuesday already at 9 p.m. Information will be coming to you so that you know how to log on and view that. And there'll be some of our officers of the college addressing some things. Andrew Polanecki, Dean of Students, and a couple of our faculty participating in this. So it will be a great opportunity and to kind of hear more about everything Holy Cross, some of our plans for the COVID-19 and reopening this fall. So great opportunity. So mark your calendars and check your email for all of those links to that. We are here. If you have any questions, feel free to pop it in the question box. We're happy to answer it. We will also, like I said, send you this PowerPoint so you'll have all of this and other information. If you want to make sure we have your email, that link will be in there. So you will get this, but we're happy to answer any questions right now.
One more slide.
Oh, yes, I forgot. Yeah. Well, I've done this so much, I forget what I even have here. And here's our contact information. So we're happy if you reach out to us, just, you know, specifically for a specific question. We'll definitely get back to you. Of course, this is in the slide deck, so you'll have our information if you don't want to write it down here. I can't believe I almost forgot that slide.
And with that, as we wait for questions, I'll jump us back over to the OWL. So you'll have an opportunity to see how the split screen technology again works here. Apologize for the lighting behind me. Large windows make for a beautiful view, unless of course the camera's trying to capture it. But again, you can see here the OWL technology here in the File Center conference room. And as I watch for questions, I just want to give a quick shout out and thank you to our IT staff for making this possible, for having the technology here, for helping us get set up, and for allowing us to showcase this really innovative technology to our campus that will allow our students, regardless of whether they're here or not, to feel present in the classroom, to be able to engage in discussion, to be able to interact back and forth with us here. And again, be it for capstones or for this technology has been really wonderful. So we thank you guys for letting us test it out here and show you not only a great room on campus, but also the technology that will be supporting us as we move into our next semester here.
Yeah. No questions.
No questions have come in yet.
Easy on us. Thank you.
So there can be a bit of a delay, so we'll watch for some questions to come in here for just a second.
It's gorgeous day here in South Bend. We hope we have this kind of cooler temperatures when you're all moving your students into their residence house.
No questions coming across here yet, so we look forward to welcoming everybody to campus, to being a part of this community, to being present with us as we navigate your son or daughter's time here as a student together. So be it parent communication or be it career development, it's our job and our goal. And I think what draws us to be a part of this community is the relationship-based nature of it. So as hard as it can be to not have you all here with us in the room and being here present with us, as soon as we're able, know that we're excited to, in the best way possible, welcome you to campus and the community. And until we're able to do that, our virtual presence is going to be here as best it can be to reach out and communicate with you. So we look forward to hearing from you and keeping in touch.
Yeah.
Still no questions coming through, so
with that, you definitely will know how to reach us. We'll get that PowerPoint out to you. Feel free to reach out at any time. And we just want to thank you again for joining us. And we'll see you in August.
have a wonderful afternoon, everyone.